to provide an accessible collection of high-quality European leather that's been minimally finished and treated. In our research, we found that much of the leather on the market has been heavily processed, beginning with inferior hides that have been corrected, plasticized, and pigmented in order to create a uniform look. But to us, this ruins the allure of leather. From our collaborations with Heli Hungarius, Paul Smith, Skolton and Bangs, to Meharan Digital Projects, and most recently our collection of rugs, we strive to add elements of integrity and, individuality. We strive to infuse our products with individuality and integrity. Leather fits perfectly into this narrative, especially when each hide is allowed to keep its own inherent variation and markings. To lead the project, we enlisted one of our most senior designers to visit several resources in Europe, seeking out the highest quality leather hides and experts in technique. Over the last 10 years, this designer has focused on designing synthetic, non-woven upholstery and wall covering from Meharan, so she was very attracted to the idea of celebrating the natural beauty and organic qualities of leather. As I mentioned, finding superior quality hides was of utmost concern, so we sought out resources in Western Europe, which is known to have the best veterinary practices, open fields for grazing, and moderate climates. We also formed resources with 3 boutique tanneries in northern Italy, which were comprised of knowledgeable artisans who have been making leather for generations. During this process, our designer was immediately attracted to certain textures and built the collection around them accordingly. The initial group includes 8 qualities in 100 shades, all from Italy with the exception of a suede from Spain. Besides quality, the development of the color palette was of equal importance. Our designers used the textures themselves to inform the color. So soft brush surfaces wanted to be dusty and subtle. Slick, flat textures, vibrant and saturated. Pebbled surfaces, rich and natural. The result can be seen in this box, which will be your primary sample tool. Despite there being 100 colors, you'll notice that there's virtually no overlap, which lends to a cohesive and comprehensive palette full of the sophisticated neutrals, unexpected muted tones, and vivid brights that Meharan is known for. I'm sure many of you are familiar with leather production, but to quickly review, there are 4 basic steps in leather production once the hide has been prepared. Tanning, dyeing, drying, and finishing. Tanning is an integral step in leather manufacturing. It is quite simply a process where various agents are added to the hides in order to soften them and make them more malleable. We'll touch on 2 different methods of tanning momentarily. I'll also highlight some specific dyeing, drying, and finishing techniques as they relate to each of the qualities in the collection. We also have some beautiful imagery from our resources that will help illustrate the process as we go along, but please feel free to ask questions at any point. So pricing for Meharan leather ranges from $12 to $24 a square foot. So we'll start with our base grade leathers. We have Basque and Steep. Basque at $12 a square foot and Steep at $13 a square foot. Our hide here is also in Steep and demonstrates the amount of variation you can expect with each of our qualities. So you'll notice along the center line here, the grain is a bit tighter and a bit looser around the edges. You'll see wrinkles, scratches, and other inherent markings. And while many manufacturers shy away from this look, we chose to honor these nuances. Some of your clients may have hesitations, but since we were using such extraordinary hides, we felt it'd be wrong to disguise these features. But that said, it's important that we all understand the variations that can occur. You may also be able to see a slight shift in color throughout the hide as different sections absorb dye differently. This is specifically evident in qualities like Steep because it uses transparent dyes to impart the color. In this process, several hides are added to a drum, dye is added, and then left to soak all the way through the hide. This is sometimes called aniline dyeing. The result is rich, deep color, as you can see in the palette for Steep. But this can be compared to staining a piece of solid wood, in that you achieve a wash of color with the grain and texture quite prominent. So in comparing Basque and Steep, they may seem quite similar at first glance, but there are actually some key differences in the manufacturing techniques. Like Steep, Basque uses transparent dye to impart an initial wash of color, but we also add a thin layer of pigment to achieve this range of 35 saturated colors and metallics. This dyeing method is sometimes called semi-aniline dye. And if you think about that same piece of wood and adding a thin layer of paint to that, so that part,